communism. Joining me now is the author of Mao's America, Survivor's Warning, Jivan Fleet, who is a survivor of Mao Zedong's communist revolution in China. Also with us, investigative columnist at the Daily Signal, Tony Kinnett. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Xi, here's a clip detailing Walz's past comments on communist China. Take a listen.
Now, I happen to be and understand a little about China and lived in China and speak Chinese. I'm pretty friendly with China.
Fostering cooperation amongst people in China and the United States on their own, understanding that these are the things that tie us together.
I don't fall into the category that China necessarily needs to be an adversarial relationship.
Please remember to practice social distancing and wear a mask as you celebrate. Gong hei fa zoi.
Xi, your reaction to his obsession, his admiration, not for China, not for the people, not for its culture, but for the CCP.
I'm so glad you said that. It's not about China. It's about CCP. When he went to China when China just barely opened, and it is not easy to be allowed to teach in high school back then in the 1989, 1990. And so he must have special permission. And what he learned about the CCP's China is he loved everything. He told his students that, an American student, that in China, everybody have the equal share of the wealth. We had nothing. And then he was in high school. He knew parents have no say about anything. And yet he is here against the parental rights in America. One thing is most important. He was there when the Tiananmen Square massacre took place. He loved it so much that he made that day, June 4th, his wedding day, and went back to Tiananmen Square to celebrate his anniversary. And this is something that is, to me, I think that we should pay special attention. That is shocking evidence to the people around the world what a tyrannic government can do to a disarmed population. The CCP gunned down the peaceful student protest in Tiananmen Square. And now here he is against our Second Amendment. So he's absolutely someone who really agreed and lined himself up with the communist ideology with the CCP.
Right. That's why it's not really shocking that he signs an order that would allow women to kill their child all the way up until the 9th month, that if a child says that they want to cut off a body part, they're transgender, this and that the government can take your child away from you. He wants to make Minnesota a trans sanctuary for kids. This guy, I don't even know if you call it left, because I have a lot of Democrat friends and they don't believe in that stuff. Tony, Walz's love for the CCP, as Xi's talking about, it goes way back. In 1989, he taught a CCP-approved course in China. 5 years later, like Xi talked about, he had his honeymoon in China. He arranged for many trips for his students to visit China. How concerned should we be about this guy?
I'm going to say this as a former teacher that my dad made a lot of mistakes in his youth, and he told me about those, and I learned from those. And all I wish right now is that I could bring Z in front of my former students and have her tell her stories living under the oppression of communist China, because that is the only way that our next generations can avoid making these mistakes. Not from someone who came back praising this nonsense. We found this out about Bernie Sanders honeymooning in the USSR, and Tim Walz, he's exactly correct. He had special permission to go to communist China approved areas. It's like how North Korea sends certain Americans that defect on special tours. It's disgusting and it's despicable. And the idea that someone who, to use the millennial term, who simps after such disgusting atrocities, who then wants to foster the same type of youth-led revolt where they shot the elders in China for Mao's revolution, is so beyond despicable. It's everything our country fought against in the Cold War. And any patriot on the left or the right in this country, their blood should boil knowing that Walz has a place on the ballot of the major two parties tickets this election cycle. God forbid that man ever gets near the executive office, or heaven forbid the Oval Office.
It sounds like you both agree that he is not fit to be running for vice president. I'm seeing by the nodding of your heads. We have to leave it right there. Jivan Fleet, Tony Kinnett, look forward to talking to you both again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia.